Hi everybody, welcome to the program. Today we're talking about the Runaways debut album from 1976 on Mercury Records, and here to talk about it is Tom Carroll from Tom Explores LA. Welcome.
Eric, thank you for having me.
Cool, so we have this album, let's talk about it. You wanted to pick an LA band.
Yes.
So you picked the Runaways.
I did.
So I'm curious to know why.
Well, you know, I was actually thinking about that too, because the reason why we do my show is to sort of like elevate forgotten parts of Los Angeles. So I guess the Runaways are kind of a forgotten band of Los Angeles. Like, I don't think of the Runaways and think of Los Angeles. So I guess they're kind of like a hidden gem.
They are. They're one of those bands that I'd known about them, but I didn't really know what they did, and I knew they were important for some reason, but I didn't know why. I just knew the Runaways as the band that Joan Jett was in before she was Joan Jett.
Yeah.
Basically. They're a band that you have to go out and seek. It's not necessarily going to be delivered to you.
Only reason I know about the Runaways is because some friend played Cherry Bomb, and I was like, oh man, this song is awesome. Who is this? Yeah. I came to it later, like maybe 5-10 years ago. I didn't grow up with the Runaways. I'm not that cool.
I'm just going to say from my experience, I had known about the Runaways, but I didn't realize they had come out in 76. Mm-hmm. For some reason in my head, I was thinking they're an 80s band, and they were just there with the Go-Go's and the Bangles. I didn't realize they predate them. And actually, like the bassist?
One of the girls, founded the Bangles or was in the Bangles.
She ended up into the Bangles, and then they became huge.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because of her, but they went on. And it's interesting, too, to note that the Runaways really weren't that big in the U.S., but they're huge in Japan.
And Sweden.
Sweden?
Yeah, Sweden and Japan.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
They were saying they were not anticipating the amount of fan reaction when they landed in Japan the first time. It was essentially, they likened it to Beatlemania.
Mm.
Yeah, I just
well, we'll give them that one. I love Cherry Bomb. And when I first heard that, I'm like, oh man, this is an awesome song. Then you listen to the whole record and you're like, well, that song's awesome. The record itself...
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Not so great. Not so great.
Not bad.
Let me just say that if I were 16 and I recorded music, no way in hell would it be as good as what they did. So I'll give them props for that.
Once you take the album into perspective of when it came out and the fact that the girls were ages between 15 and 17, then all of a sudden you have this new appreciation for this.
And I think that's why I picked it, more so for the idea it represents.
Yeah.
Because this is not, I wouldn't even put this in like top 30 of my favorite albums. I mean, it isn't anywhere close, but the fact that they were all girls and some of my actual favorite bands, Mika Miko, but they're an all-girl punk band who I used to see at the Smell all the time, and I loved them. So I like to think that if it weren't for the Runaways, blazing a trail, maybe they wouldn't have been there.
Lyrically, young girls talking very, what's the word? They're talking very explicitly about sex.
Yeah, it's funny, they are, but then they aren't. Like, they really dance around it because they say, like grab you and hold you till you're tired. It's like very nuanced language.
For 76,
yes,
for a 15 to 17-year-old
yes, of course.
This, I mean, that's...
All girls. No, I mean, definitely.
Well, she does say it's something about, I'm hot like an oven, ready. Maybe something like that.
See, now that I picked this up, I feel like much more creepy than I thought I would in the beginning of this. My intentions were good, I'll say that. innocent. I love Cherry Bomb. What can I say?
I'm not judging. Okay, this is it Cherie?
I'm always afraid to say it, but yeah, I think it's Cherie Curry, the lead singer. There you go.
Jeez.
So it's 1976 Babes.
This is jailbait.
Yeah, that is.
This is all jailbait. Yeah. No joke.
Well, that's what's so creepy. The dude, Kim Fowley.
And then the other guy. There's another guy too, Brian something or other. He came in later, maybe.
Yeah, it was like Kim Fowley's idea. Let's make this like creepy band. I'll just like be a weird 35-year-old dude talking to 15. He was old. I mean, I think he was like late 20s at least. It
is sad that the fact that these girls were exploited and abused in many ways.
Like most of their managers would be the people who would buy them drugs, buy them alcohol.
Oh, yeah. There was no one looking out for their well-being.
Yeah.
Because the management, depending on who you talk to, pretty much stole all their money. You know, it's probably just taking advantage of a young kid who doesn't know how to read contracts.
Yeah.
And the girls actually didn't like each other. apparently. I mean, it kind of came in waves. Like certain members would form bonds, but then they'd break. And I feel like from the documentary I was watching that Kim was encouraging this, sort of hold control over them in a way.
I mean, he seems like a master manipulator, Charles Manson-esque kind of character, where he can kind of like orchestrate, manipulate people in ways in which that benefit him ultimately.
I got that impression.
I haven't met the guy, so I can't actually speak to this. Suffice it to say, he was a kind of a weird guy. Cherry Bomb's great. People should listen to Cherry Bomb. Don't need to necessarily seek out the album, but just check out Cherry Bomb.
I think culturally, historically, in the annuals of music history, this album is very significant.
Yes, and that's why we're talking about it.
Yeah, and then in terms of like sit down and listen to music, it's good for a listen, but that's it. Or maybe you gotta be a little younger.
Yeah, it's just weird because Cherry Bomb is very different from all the other tracks on the album. I was listening to it earlier today and I literally forgot I was listening to music for like 5 minutes because it was like it just didn't affect me whatsoever. This seems very cold-hearted to me. I picked this up and now we're just talking shit about it the whole time. But to be fair, its importance derives from the fact that they blazed the trail. And that's why people still listen to Cherry Bomb, like people still talk about the Runaways.
I mean, I almost liken them to the New York Dolls.
Yeah.
In a way. Like they sort of lit a spark.
Yes.
And they faded out pretty quick, but the ripples continues on to this day. And I think it's the same way for the Runaways. And although, would we not be talking about them if they were not the first?
I don't think we would.
Yeah.
I don't think we would. They were just lucky to be there first.
What does that say? Pay to be first in line. That's what they teach us. Well, thank you so much, Tom.
Eric, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah. So be sure to check out his show, Tom Explores LA. It's really good. Hopefully I get to help participate at some point. That'd be really fun. Until then, I am your Vinyl Geek.
And I'm Tom Carroll.
We'll catch you on the flip side.
What is this? Is this paper?
It's a paper straw, yeah.
Like, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a little different.
I like it.
And I guess it's biodegradable.
You care. You do it because you care.
Yeah, I care about you, Tom.